I'm at Fire and Ice, a long-running gaming convention here in northeastern Wisconsin. It's about 500 to 600 people, and goes over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's winding down. It's Sunday afternoon at this point, and I'm getting about ready to go home. But I've been here Saturday and Sunday. I had to work on Friday, and it's been a lot of fun. There have been board games. There are a lot of different board games going on here. I've seen stuff from Fantasy Flight Games. I've seen stuff from, I'm just even looking around trying to catch stuff at this point. Oh gosh, there's, Tide of Iron, Memoir 44, Euro stuff, train stuff, Ticket to Ride, Mayfair train games with the crayons and all that stuff. There's a lot of different board games going on. That's the majority of what you're seeing at this convention. It's predominantly board games, and there's tons of people to play with and a lot of stuff going on. It's cool to see because literally people can bring so many different games that, they'll show up with 10 different games, and there's going to be something that you've probably never played before. So this is a great situation to get into when you're just trying to find some new games that maybe you and your group back home want to play. There are also card games, mostly Magic. I see some stuff going on with some kids with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, but for the most part, it's been Magic. And Magic is still just as popular as it's ever been. And there's still vendors here selling all kinds of Magic stuff, but you see a lot of people playing. There was a tournament going on over there earlier. There's a lot of stuff going on, so the Magic has really been, it's not a completely Magic tournament, like I said. Really, board games is the big thing, but there's a lot going on for Magic and a lot of people playing it, so that's really good. There's also role-playing games. This is one convention that is kind of interesting in that they kind of have areas set up, little kind of fake walls made out of PVC pipe and felt to kind of quiet it down so the RPG people can hear each other, because it's one big room. So when you've got one big room, you've got situations where you're not going to hear the GM, so that's problematic. These guys have these sort of side rooms, and they've got stuff running from old school West End games, Star Wars, not the new Star Wars stuff, but old school West End games. There's a very vocal, very dedicated group of people who run that, and they're here every year running a system called Sparks, that they've kind of, persistent world that they've made up for this. It's been working out great. I see people running indie games. I see people running the standards, Dungeons and Dragons, GURPS, things like that. And there's a lot of it. I've always played, not always, but I used to play RPGs. I've never thought of playing one at a convention because I've always been like, I want to know the people I'm playing with, but, obviously people still enjoy it. The other thing that's cool about small conventions are vendors. There are, at this convention right now, there's a guy selling he's a big retailer, and he's selling a lot of scratch and dent stuff. So there's things you can get for just dirt cheap, because maybe the corner of the box is, bent a little bit or whatever. So there's a used bookseller, hundreds, if not thousands of paperbacks that he's selling. There's people selling, there was a guy here selling a whole bunch of 40k stuff. Nothing new. Everything was either painted or old, or he'd purchased it on eBay or gotten it from friends or whatever. I found a really cool old metal Marnius Caligar in power armor with the 2 power fists, and all that. And I got that for like $3-4, and it was awesome. A bunch of companies, like I said, selling, the board games and the educational games. There was a company here selling a lot of educational games, and that's really cool. Companies here selling Dungeons and Dragons, miniature singles or HeroClix or whatever. There's all kinds of things you can find, and there's some things you can find only at conventions. Women making dice bags, custom dice bags, making to order, a lot of stuff. That's why the small conventions are cool. And then, of course, my interest area, and probably yours if you're watching this, miniatures. Behind me right now, you will see the tail end of a kind of a Sunday tradition here at Fire and Ice, which is the Sunday 40k Tournament. 3 rounds, $18.50. This year we're talking to, they had 22 players. A lot of Dark Eldar, surprising to me a little bit, but a lot of Dark Eldar, a lot of Imperial Guard, one Imperial Guard army, which unfortunately I don't have any footage of, but just it was Traitor Guard, and they look amazing. The guy had sculpted these vendettas and put they're covered in like Nurgle-y stuff and bumps and extra eyes and tentacles, and oh god, I wish I had some video. They're really, really cool. See some really nicely painted stuff here for being basically a small tournament. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on as far as the 40k tournament. It's just about done, just about wrapping up. But it's a little bit more than I want to get into, but it is a lot of terrain, a lot of nice looking stuff. So honestly, think about going to some small conventions. Look online, talk to people, go to your local stores, look for posters. There's things that you can really only find at these small conventions that you'll never find anyplace else. Yesterday there was a big setup. Guys over in the corner had set up a bunch of PCs and they were playing a game called Artemis, which is a starship bridge simulator game. I talked to the main programmer at Gen Con last year for Beast of War, and they had quite a setup and they were just non-stop. There were people playing all day long. You can't find that, you know, at your local game store even sometimes. So this kind of stuff is really important. It builds your community, you meet new people. I ran a game here both Saturday and Sunday that is kind of a niche game. It's not, you know, something that a lot of people know about. It's called Flying Lead. It's from Ganesha Games. And, you know, people sit down and they start to play and they ask questions about it, and maybe that's going to get them to go out and pick it up, and then you're going to have someone else to play with. Or they're going to hear about it and go, oh, well, there's a store over there. Well, cool, I'm going to come over, and then they're going to start playing things, and it just snowballs is my point. And that's the whole thing. These types of conventions are great. Don't get me wrong, Adepticon, Gen Con, all those places are great too, but the small local conventions are really where you meet the people that you play with the rest of the year when Gen Con or Adepticon or whatever's not going on. So anyway, I'm going to pack up all my stuff and hump it back out to the car, and yeah, I'm looking forward to my next convention, which is Adepticon, which is one of the big ones, but I always look forward to this one every year, if the weather holds out, which this year, it was not bad. It was a little slippery on Saturday, but you know, today was good. Today was good driving, and we'll see how it goes on the way home.